My name's ALVIN ZAITOUNA. My family owns a distribution company here in Southfield for the last 20 plus years. We sell general merchandise, everything from non-perishable groceries to paper plates to canned beans, school supplies, and basically anything in between. I'm ALVIN ZAITOUNA, a partner in Universal Wholesale. It's a B2B business.
Okay.
So what we do is we supply your local convenience stores, corner stores, gas stations, grocery stores with merchandise in order to help supply the community. You know, we're basically a channel with like national brands and smaller mom and pop manufacturers to be able to reach a larger market than if they were based out of just California,
Right.
in order for them to get a threshold of the Michigan market.
Right.
We have our own trucks, so we have 6 box trucks, and we service all of Greater Michigan with our own trucks, less up the Upper Peninsula, but our trucks will even go as far as Indiana and as far as Columbus, Ohio. Yeah, so we get a pretty good region of our pocket over here. We have very fast turnaround time. We usually get our products, depending on the region of Michigan. Everything usually gets shipped out within a week. So we receive the order. If you're within the Tri-County, you get your order within 2 days, between Oakland, Macomb, and Wayne County. Anything outside of that, we have specified days for this. We go to Saginaw every Monday. We go to Flint every Monday. We go to Columbus every Tuesday and Thursday. So like every day has a specific route. So people in Columbus know, hey, I need some stuff. Let me get it to them before Thursday so I can get my order on Thursday. Right? So we gotta build a platform for even the customers to understand what benefits them, because we offer them free shipping once they exceed a limit, depending on how far out they are.
So as far as the products you distribute, a lot of the manufacturers of the products, are they all like these huge companies?
I mean, they're everything from Bounty, General Mills, to Billy's toilet paper.
Boom.
So we get everything. You know, we get the little guy who has a 2,000 square foot manufacturing facility, and we got the big guy who's got the 2 million square foot manufacturing facility. So the guy who's building the paper towel by himself, and the people who push a button and a robot does it. You know, you got and everything in between.
Now, do you guys carry any perishable items or like refrigerated?
Not refrigerated, but most of the stuff that you like, the most perishable item I probably have would probably be like candy or like spices.
What about beef jerky and that kind of stuff?
Yeah, like any kind of like snack, right? Like your chips, your jerky, a lot of spices, a lot of
like
gums, a lot of condiments, like ketchup, barbecue sauces, juices, millions of different brands of water, because there's so many different waters out now. So, you know, anything that kind of fills those voids, you know. And then we even get into like very, very like selective like baby formulas, baby bottles, and like, you know, it just grows up in there. Like you'll get into the seasonal goods, right? So we'll carry your arrangement of like Christmas stuff for
Halloween,
stuff for Easter, stuff for Thanksgiving, you know, and various holidays. It's not just one specific holiday. Whatever holidays are coming. St. Patrick's Day's coming, you know. It's graduation time, you know. We'll get all our graduation and seasonal stuff. School season is about to start, you know. We'll have our school supply section come out, like, and we have a 10,000 square foot live showroom, as well as a website that displays all 12,000. We have 12,000 different SKUs. So 12,000 different items that you could purchase from us.
So is it all in bulk?
Everything
right
is
there.
Everything is in bulk. No. So the way our operation works is we are a live showroom and a live website. Well, my actual facility is closed. The warehouse is actually closed to customers. So what you would do is you would come in place your order or place the order online. If you're interested in picking it up, you could just put pick up. Usually it's the next day. Usually next day, depending on what time you submit the pickup, right? If you're an early bird and you say you need to pick up an order and you submit it at 6 a.m., we'll have it ready for you the same day, right? But usually it's next day. We place the order, prepare it, come back and pick it up, and our employees will prepare the order for you. That way they know where the goods are, they know where they're stored, they're able to understand it, because when you go into the warehouse, it's not like you're buying it at the supermarket, right? You don't go there and you see Heinz ketchup in the red bottle sticking at you. You're just gonna go in there, it's gonna be a white box, a brown box, and it's just gonna say Heinz ketchup. And then, they're gonna they know where to look. Is it a 14 ounce? Is it a 24 ounce? Is it an 8 ounce? Is it a travel size? They know what they're looking for. Otherwise, they all just say Heinz ketchup, right? So it just makes it easier than sending a customer in there and they're opening every box. Right. Oh, is this the one I want? Oh, is this because they're not going to have the time or the ability to learn like what these guys are doing every day, right?
Now, I want you to know, I built a shopping industry, like shopping centers, electronic, telecommunications, media stuff. So what thought hit me while you were talking, not that this is going to be part of the interview, but do you guys utilize like visual screens to show maybe your new products that may have just arrived?
So on our platform, we do on our website. Every time we have new products that come in, we have a new products page that everything gets implemented for 30 days, as well as a slideshow that slides new product. And then for people who are not like website orderers, we have a phone-based system that we send blast out with, like text message blast, new product coming in. Christmas is around the corner, Halloween is around the corner. So that helps advertise the new goods.
Awesome. Now another thing it's germane to your business. I mentioned beef jerky. My business partner, his name is Mohammed Saad. And he owns Saad Meats, and they cater to the whole halal meat community. Do you guys carry that kind of stuff?
Yeah. So I would say the one that we carry that's probably most like cater to that is I wouldn't say we cater to it. I'd say
make it available.
But we make it available, right? I don't think in our line of work we can necessarily cater to one specific thing. I think you have to cater to multiple markets because then you're limiting your reach, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So like I'll give you an example. We carry something that's like probably our best jerky right now, and I'm not going to use the national brands. I'm not going to use your Slim Jims and your Jack Links. Like, you're going to put those in Timbuktu, that someone's going to come buy them because everybody knows who Jack Links is. Everyone knows what a Slim Jim is, right? So like a smaller brand that we carry that does very well, that falls right along that lines is it's called Amish jerky. And and they meet a lot of those
requirements.
Like for like halal, they meet a lot of those standards, right? So we're able to offer those to those markets, So there's certain items, yes and no, like a big one is like evaporated milk, right? And in Dearborn, it's a very popular thing because they use it for so many desserts and so many different types of things, right? If I take that and go to Port Huron, the volume's going to be different, right? You're going to move 10% here, you're going to move 80% there, right? So it's just one of those things where you kind of always have to you have to stay as diverse as you can in the goods, because if you limit yourself, you're always selling yourself short in different markets.
And that's good, because you have to, aside from offering a wide variety of items, so to speak, if you're not keen on what's relevant to a certain market, you're just shelving stuff.
Well,
I'll give you
an item that probably makes sense, So I'll say we'll just use a general thumb. Let's say 10 years ago, because I know it was pre-COVID. 2 items that were very, very they were hot, hip items, like get in and get out. They're not something you're gonna carry in 5 years, right? Which were one. Do you remember when like the hoverboards first came out?
Oh yeah, heck yeah.
So we were bringing them in 100 at a time, and I'm sure just as many I sold were being bought for personal use that were being resold, right? Because how many hoverboards are you going to put into a gas station or into a? But you know, you could put one or two right there. You never know what's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
But it was hot, and you made good money on it because everybody wanted one. It was the new thing. They never seen it before, right? So you bring them in, you sell them, and then they just fade away. And then I don't know if you remember silly bands. They were like rubber bands that little kids wore on their wrist. They take them off and they made like an animal made of fruit.
Oh no, I don't know. I'm not familiar.
It was just a rubber band.
Oh, okay.
And when you put it flat, it showed a shape,
Okay.
a design, something. It could have been a guitar. It could have been a camera, whatever it was, and it was insane. It was insane. Like people, it was like the COVID market, people running into stores to take everything off the shelf, but for this one SKU. And it literally, it was like a cheap, inexpensive product, but people couldn't get enough of it, right? But you know that's not going to stick around forever. Like in 10 years, people aren't going to be buying these and wearing them. You know, it's a fad.
Right.
Some celebrity, some kid, some influencer somewhere wore it, and enough people said, "Oh wow, that's cool," and then all of a sudden everybody wanted
it takes
one,
off,
right? But you could only want and have so much of those things until they're not important or insignificant to people anymore.
Awesome. And you know, one thing about I try to keep myself surrounded by 20-year-olds.
Yeah.
Because they keep me in tune to what's relevant today. Of course, I mean, I've been with major record companies, and I know all
of course.
the big. I know all that.
You know, it's when people grow in age,
yes,
their desire for what is relevant decreases. Because like you have to value what's important in your life right now. Like, okay, at my age, I'm 34 years old. I have 2 children. It's what's more important. Spending the time and enjoying what my kids want to enjoy, or going and finding out what's hip right now, right? You know, and it all comes full circle eventually. Like if that's a desire that you have, you'll always find time to make it and enjoy, you know, those things. If that's not a desire that you have, then you kind of, you know, if you don't put your brain there, you'll kind of get left on the wayside of what's hip.
And your demographic, the 30, 35, 54, right in that little range, that's the person who's arrived. They've pretty much carved out what they are about. I want a family, I want this, and they
you know, between the ages of 35 and I would even say a little bit younger than 55, I would probably even say like 45 more than I would say 55, because you know, you're getting to the latter years of your life at that point. You know, you kind of have to make a decision on which path you're going. You know, once you get to that age, it's either I want this or I want that. You know, you don't stay in that. Oh, I'm a young adult. No,
you age into the next demo.
You're no longer a young adult. 10 years ago, a 30-year-old, a 35-year-old wouldn't be as in tune to some of the technology features that I am, because I was raised through all of it.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I literally was raised through all of it. I saw the car phone. I saw the family only having one TV for the whole house, and that was good. That wasn't like, you know, I lived through commercials where you were sprinting to the bathroom to pee and get back before your show started back on.
Now,
right?
You press pause.
Exactly. You know, so I lived through that. I lived through the phone of the pager, through the black and white phone, through the colored phone, through the cell phone that everybody had. You know, I was probably one of the first generations. I had my first cell phone at in 6th grade.
Okay.
You know, one of the first generations that came to that, right? Like, whereas the kids were getting cell phones now. You know, I still remember my first phone had 500 minutes for the month. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like that's all you had.
Yeah.
You know, now that they would tell you, what do you mean you have? What are you going to do with 500 minutes? Like, they wouldn't even use it.
Insane.
I said, but there wasn't texting. Right? And I lived through texting through 1 through 9, you know, like hit 2, 3 times to get to C. Like, I lived through that. You know?
That was so frustrating.
You know, I lived through that.
Yeah.
So like I've had to constantly evolve, but my baseline, because I learned it at adolescence. I didn't have to learn it in my 20s, right? Where the guy who's 10 years older than me had to learn it in his 20s. I learned it when I was 10. You know?
And so you were born in like 1990.
Exactly.
You said 90s baby.
Yeah.
Now what's interesting, I think you were born in the acceleration of these technologies.
So the technology was there, but I was there when it boomed.
Exploded.
Yeah.
Now see, for me, I'm 20 years, a little bit more than that, older than you are. And I remember when these things were first hitting the marketplace, it was like, wow, a computer. What do you do with a computer? And some of us took to it like a duck.
It's like an iPhone.
Yeah.
It's like, think about all the people that took years and years to evolve from a flip phone to an iPhone or an Android or to a smartphone. Just a smartphone. Like I have, I'll tell you, I have an iPad Nano.
Oh wow.
I have an iPad.
Way back.
I have an iPod with the
little
scroller,
real dial.
with the dial. I still have them. I never got rid of them.
Yeah.
I have the first iPad Touch.
Okay.
The iPod Touch.
Okay.
Yeah, with the little, like an iPhone. Now.
It was a big deal because it had like
huge deal.
Like
it was an iPhone.
400 megs of storage.
Yeah.
And now you're talking about a
You
terabyte.
can't buy an iPhone. You can't buy an iPhone with less than 64. I don't think anymore.
Yeah, it's funny.
I think that's their baseline.
Right.
And back
that's
then,
gigs.
yeah, we're talking gigs. And we're talking back then on the iPhone 4 was 8 gig.
Right.
A 4 gig, 8 gig, something like that.
Yeah.
Like the first iPhone, that's how small the memory was on it. But what were you doing on it?
Yeah.
Making phone calls, sending text messages, listening to music.
And now.
And photos. That was all a smartphone did before. Pictures, music, text, and calls.
And a few phone calls.
And FaceTime. That's when FaceTime.
Well, see, and now it's FaceTime, texting. The worst of it, oh God, the phone is ringing. I got to talk on the phone.
Yeah.
You know, unfortunately, that's now
that's the
least
last
desired. But everything else, like going live, streaming, all of that is what's germane to right now. So if you have a business like the size of yours, and that's how you stay relevant, by having people in decision-making positions that are right there at the pulse. You're not the young one. You're not the old one. You're I'm telling you, man, you're at a beautiful time.
Yeah.
I'm like older, but I tried, like I said, when I said I keep people at 20 years old around me because that keeps me relevant.
See, but that's one thing that I think is very important, and I know, you know, it's as much as you can minimize it, you know, it's better for the environment. But I think paper is very essential for any well-organized business. I think that it's impossible to take everything digital.
Right.
There's certain things that you just need to have a physical hand involved in it because you never know. Right now, we're shooting these videos, right? What happens tomorrow if you don't back these up and someone runs over your phone? We have to redo the whole lecture or the whole interview.
Let me ask you this now. This is not even on the sheet. Do you have mentors, and how much older are they to you?
So I wouldn't say I necessarily have mentors. I mean, I would say the closest thing to a mentor is probably my father.
There you go.
But outside of like that, because I don't perceive my father as a mentor because he's my father, right? So to me, a mentor is more somebody outside of your circle that you gravitated to and you learn from. But I would say that I have a lot of, we'll just use the word leaders or guidance from a lot of older folk, and I would say that the majority of them are probably 20 years older than me.
Yeah.
That's probably who I look to for the most, and that I usually get the most from. I think a mentor or a leader or someone you take guidance from changes when your life changes. Like as your life evolves, your mentors or your leaders are going to change, right?
I like the number you said, like 20 years ahead. 20 years. That's a generation gap that is experienced.
It's different than what I'm experiencing.
Right. And
they've lived what I've lived or are living something different than I've never lived or I'm yet to get to.
Right. And that's when they can say, well, wait till you get my age. You'll see different, you know. And so that's the thing. I've spoken to so many business people who think they just know it all. And
I think that's the hardest thing as a business owner to get past is saying, like I think that's what helps elevate a lot of very successful business people is when they're able to separate what they're good at and what they are yet to learn.
There you go. Knowing what you don't know and
knowing what you don't know and knowing how to find someone to do what you don't know.
And always be teachable.
Yeah.
How did this business start for you guys?
My father came here when he was 19 years old.
From which country?
We immigrated from Iraq. He came here, him and his brother. He was accepted at U of D. So he's got a chemical engineering degree from University of Detroit Mercy.
Okay.
he had a desire to just work. He loved to work. You know, he was. My family came from like villages, so my father was like a farmer, big family, and he, you know, it was just embedded into him. Work. So he started literally just. He was in school, working 2 jobs, just like every other story you've heard of an immigrant coming and making it. You know, busted his ass. Excuse my language.
No, I got you.
And he started just working this guy, that guy, and then he said, you know what, I'm going to start selling some products. And he was still in school, started just loading up his car, would go to somebody like us, buy stuff, and just drive around and sell it.
Wow.
And just slowly over time
Snowballed
grew. And, you know, from selling out of his van to moving out the apartment into a house in Southfield, and filling up the garage. After that became too small, rented a small space, and, you know, 40 years now. I think we started the business in 86, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
So
That's
we're
40,
coming up
that's
just on 40 years
yeah,
right now,
30.
and we're at a 180,000 square foot facility. So from a van that's 150 square feet, 180 square feet,
Right.
to 180,000 now.
And so, you know how people say, oh yeah, that's a great story. What I see here is a great Southfield story.
Yeah.
What high school did you attend here in Southfield?
So I actually left right before high school.
Okay.
But my elementary and middle school were, I went to Bussey Center.
Okay.
Which is, I don't even know if it's still there anymore. I know the building's there, but I don't think it's Bussey Center. I think it's been renamed. Then I went to McIntyre.
Okay.
I went to St. Bede.
Okay.
Do you know where Southfield Funeral Home is?
Yes.
I live down that street.
Wow.
I live down Guy Street.
Okay.
And then Burney.
Okay.
And then we moved out to Troy after that. We had a fire in our house,
Oh.
which is what moved us out of the city at the time. But like that, at that point, I was, you know, we were already raised, right? We weren't being raised like you were being taught. You weren't being raised anymore,
Right.
right? So like, you know, you knew right from wrong. You just had to be corrected, adjusted, every so on and so forth. But I will tell you that the community and the family here in Southfield that we had was stronger than when we left. Like the family and the community that we built and the neighbors and everything was always stronger. Like I always felt like I had a stronger tie here than I ever did when we moved.
Nice.
Well, I will say that life has a lot of failures, but it's how you look past the failures that you have in life to move you forward. All right, you know, it's the saying, you take 2 steps back to go 1 step forward. It's very true, right? It's about how you respond to the 2 steps back, right? You know you're going to go 2 steps back, 1 forward, but how many more forward can you go before you have another 2 steps back, right? You're always going to have something that's going to set you back in life. You know, you're always going to have things that are traumatic to you or derail you in your life. If you can't move forward, then you'll always spiral backwards. As long as you learn to put a stop sign or a brick wall there and say, hey, this is it. Stop here. Push yourself forward. You'll always keep moving forward.
Would you say that you're in a phase of life where you're being more you're planning and coming up with your own strategy?
I've always been kind of like a goal-driven person, so I always put a goal in front of me, and drive to achieve that goal. However, I need to get there. I would say the older I've gotten, the harder it's become, because at 20 years old, I don't have anything to hold me back.
Right, and now
you know,
this isn't a holdback, but it's a responsibility and a growth.
When I say hold back, I don't mean in a negative impact. I mean, you know, your responsibilities grow as you age. Your responsibilities age, right? So at 20 years old, well, I had my own house at 23 years old.
Yes.
So at 23 years old, my responsibilities were what? Pay my utilities, pay my house payment, pay my car. Everything else, go ahead. Do whatever you want. At 34 years old, that's not what it is. It's like, all right, I got 2 kids. I want to make sure that they're set up. They have this, they have that. I need to do A, B, and C for them. It's you become the afterthought.
Yes.
You know, all right, what does moms need? What does dad need?
Yes.
You know, Did I take the kids to see them this week? Well, I got to carve some time out for them. You know, at 20 years old, you don't even think about seeing your parents.
Right. You take them for granted.
You don't think at 20 years old, you're not like, oh, let me see what mom's is doing. Let me go take her out to lunch.
Mm-hmm.
No. At 20 years old, it's, hey, mom, I need to get my underwear cleaned. Can I drop off my laundry?
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
And at 35 years old, it's, I got to do the kids' laundry.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hey, let me see if mom got her groceries, if she needs me to go drop something off for her. Let me see if she misses the kids, if she has time for me to come over. You know, it's just your whole mindset changes when you have responsibilities other than yourself.
Yes.
Or when you realize you have responsibilities other than yourself.
Yeah.
Because you always have those responsibilities. It's just how much light you can bring to them.
I believe people have to take the time
Yeah.
because we're so inundated with business matters, social matters, you know, just things in general.
Correct.
It'll
one
rob
thing,
you.
One thing that I personally, sorry to cut you off, I always personally try to do is when I leave the office, I always try to push aside all my business matters because I just spent 9-10 hours doing it. If I spend another 9-10 hours, it's still not going to be done.
Mm-hmm.
You know, one thing that somebody told me that has always stuck with me is your work is here today and it'll be there tomorrow. Don't kill yourself trying to get it all done today because tomorrow you're gonna have something else that needs to get done. So there's always something else. As long as you're progressing forward, don't kill yourself trying to get it done. Nothing has to be done right now. And I always just stick with anything that has to be done right now. Either you drop the ball on it, or there's something's not adding up.
Yeah.
There's something missing, something that doesn't fill the void that you're looking for.
Wow. And see, you starting to sound like an old man.
I
I mean, when I really listen to you, I mean,
yeah, like
you,
I think that I've seen so much, and like even at my age, you just, as long as you keep yourself out there, you'll always learn new things. And I've always been open-minded to learning, and accepting somebody else's beliefs and thoughts over mine, because if I don't, then you're stuck. Wealth is not a physical attribute.
right.
Wealth is being able to sit in the backyard, have a bonfire, enjoying a beer, enjoying your kids, running around. You know, if you having all the money in the world doesn't make that happen. You know, having all the money doesn't make your life simple.
Definitely doesn't.
You know what I mean? Like, the more money you have, the more people want from you. One thing that I learned at a young age, from I was probably like 20, 22 years old, and the gentleman was probably in his early 60s. He told me, don't get frustrated when you tell someone to do something, because if they could do it, they would be in your situation. So always, and I think that's one of the things that it's always stuck with me, and I think that's kind of what gave me the attitude I have as a young kid, like coming out of high school and college, was to be patient with people, because if somebody can't do something but they're trying, give them time. Eventually they'll evolve and be able to. I hope that in 10 years that the redevelopment of Southfield brings Southfield back like it was in the 90s. That's what I hope to see for Southfield in 10 years. You know, I think that this downtown development area where Northland sits, you know, depending on the direction that property takes, will have a huge impact 10 years from now.